Hey everyone, welcome or welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I am going to be showing you everything that I colored in the month of November. I had a fairly good coloring month. I didn't do as many as I have been. I've been extremely busy and haven't had all the coloring time that I usually have. So I just want to very briefly go over my stats. So for the month of November on YouTube, I started with 1,443. I ended up with 1,464. So I have an additional 21 subscribers. And on Instagram, I have an additional 9. So I'm at 1,013. And I was really happy to reach the 1,000 goal. And for Instagram in November, or actually in October. And for YouTube, I am 36 subscribers away from my 1,500 subscriber goal for 2025. So if you haven't pressed that subscribe button and you want to help me out here, I just need 36 people to hit that subscribe button. So if you could do that now, I would really appreciate it because I would really like to get to this goal. I originally had 2,000 and I realized pretty quickly that I wasn't going to make that. So I made the goal 1,500. So I hope I could reach that. But I have 13 completed pages to show you today. This month I did do an additional 2 whips. So that has me down to 23, which means that I met my goal of under 25 whips in 2025. Hopefully I could get that down even further in 2026. I would really like to end up in the single digits somewhere, but who knows. I had one buddy color that was in Drum & Banger, and that was with Christina's Art Corner and Bubble of Coloring. So that is it from my stats. I'm going to move this over and then start with the books. Let me show you my beautiful pages, or most of them are beautiful. Some of them are okay, not. And I didn't write this down at all because it's just bookmarks. But I had purchased this several months ago, the Petit Poupée book. I guess you call this a book. And I did about 4 or 5. And please excuse all the ink on my hands, but I really can't seem to get it off. I had an explosion of, wasn't a gel pen. I guess it was like a glitter marker and it just won't come off. So I think it's ink based, but excuse that. But I did do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bookmarks. And they were so much fun, especially on the days that, I don't know why I get so exhausted when I take my brother to the hospital. But yeah, so when I come back, I just, need a nap or something. And these worked perfectly for those days. I didn't care if they came out well. I didn't really care about the color palette. I just picked up my alcohol markers and started to color. And in some cases, I used gel pen. In other cases, I did not. I think I used pencil in the Arial. I don't think I used pencil for many of the others, except for maybe the cheek colors. But it's a really fun project to do these bookmarks, and I will start to use them in my completed pages and to mark my pages instead of using like those plastic tabs. So this is better for the environment. This is paper. So, or I think it's better for the environment. I don't actually know. But so that's what I did. So I did these 5. So on to the books that I did take notes on. So the first book is Enchanted Faces by Lynn. This is a book I would really like to complete someday. And I did not mark this page. Oh, no. And I did what I'm going to call the Red Riding Hood page. I really like the way this one came out. I used my alcohol markers, Woomer pencils, and then some sparkle gel pens. I don't know if it was Jelly Roll or not, but they're sparkly. I kind of like the way she came out. I really like the color combination, you know, the contrasting colors. I tried to add something to the dress. Yeah, there you could see it. I kind of dotted it with a metallic marker. I think it made a nice, cute little pattern on it. I also love the hair color. I added reds, pinks, oranges, and yellows, so I'm really happy with that. So yeah, it was a quick page, and yeah, I'm happy with it. I got another page done. And I am almost halfway through. I think I'm just 1 or 2 shy of the 25 page mark, so the halfway point. And I love seeing this book fill up. So that is Enchanted Faces by Hannah Lynn. Up next, I have another small book, and that is Portrait of the Mermaid by Sarah Burrier. And I did not mark my pages. I did the first page, and I like the way she came out. A little bit of a weird color palette. I also tried coloring with my acrylic markers. I usually just use them to lighten black lines, and this time I tried coloring with them. Yeah, there's room for improvement there. In some cases, I use the Langwo acrylic markers. Still, yeah, room for improvement with the acrylic marker thing, but I do really like the page. I like her skin. I, like at least the hair. And I didn't shade at all on the hair. I just used, 2 different color oranges. And I really found this an enjoyable page. It really was a palette cleanser between some of the other harder pages. So that is Portrait of the Mermaid by Sarah Burrier. Up next, I have Merry Christmas by Hannah Karlzon. I have a lot of tabs in here because I tagged a lot for... Yeah, now I have to try to find my page. Oh yeah, I did this double page spread. That's right. I might have overcracked that. But I'm pretty pleased with this one. I think I could have added more color in the background. But in this page, I used my Neo Color 2s for the background and in some cases on the houses themselves. I also used other watercolors, just various brands, and I used my Polychromos pencils. I also used a lot of gel pen in here, especially the white gel pen. I used, I guess it's the yellow glaze pen on the stars. I'm not sure you can see any of that. There's quite a bit of gold around here and there. But yeah, a lot of the glaze pens on the baubles or the ornaments. But yeah, I really like the page. I am so happy that first page I did in this book, I did a double page spread. So that is one of the goals I'm probably going to make when I do my goals for 2026, is to try to do some more double page spreads. So that is from Merry Christmas by Hannah Karlzon. Up next, I have Garden Lady by Lana Green. And I did this page. I'm happy with it. I think it... Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, that's a little bit too bright. There's a glare. Sorry. There you go. I like the page. I do think it turned out well in the end. But for some reason with this page, I did lose sort of my interest halfway through. And I don't know why. That's never happened to me in like a portrait or anything by Lana Green before. In this, I used various watercolors. For the skin, I used my luminance pencils, and for the hair and the shading on the clothes, I used my polychromos pencils. I did have trouble with my polychromos pencils in this page, and I have no idea why, because I've used them many, many times. But I don't know if you can see how grainy it got. Yeah, there's a lot of wax bloom, but it's the graininess that really bothered me. And I felt like I couldn't get more than one or two, a couple of layers on here before it just wouldn't add any more color. So yeah, this was a little bit of a rough page for me. I did change the color slightly, and that's only because I didn't have pencils that made those colors. So I made it, mine's a little bit more purple. Maybe it's not quite as red. But yeah, so I think she's pretty in the end. But it was kind of concerning that this is the first time I barely made it through and I lost steam on a portrait page. So yeah, that's it. Watercolors, luminance, polys, white Posca pen. And I think is there any other? No, the gold I made with pencil. So yeah, I think the white Posca pen is the only sort of gel pen or acrylic pen that I use. But I do like the way the glass came out, especially. I think those little streaks really, help. So that is from Garden Lady by Lana Green. Up next, I did another page of Spooky by Chevch. I think that's closer to how to pronounce her name, but I'm still not too sure. And why did I not mark pages this week? I am so sorry, guys. And I did this page. And I like it. I think it came out kind of funky. I tried to make some kind of psychedelic background. There are like 3 or 4 color yellows in here, but you could barely see it on camera. Actually, you could barely see it in person too. But it's a little bit more obvious in person than it is on camera right now. But I like how colorful the page came out, so I'm really happy with that. I like the patterns that I did on these leaves. Yeah, those are still nice. This one, I just added some polka dots to it. Same there. So I tried to add a couple of patterns to my paper. And in this page, I used, well, I think I did 14 pages then because I did not write this one down. So obviously I used a lot of alcohol marker. I used some gel pens, but I don't think I really shaded very much. So I don't think I really used very much pencil here. And if I did, I have no idea what brand that was. Yeah, I did use some pencil. I could see it there. So I might have used my polychromos pencils because most likely they were out and close by. Yeah, I used pencil here and there. So yeah, I think that's all I put on here. Obviously some gel pen work, but I think I just mentioned that. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a little scattered. But yeah, so that is Spooky by Chevch. Up next, I have the Best of Pop Manga by Camila. And I did this page. Not a complete fail, but it didn't come out anywhere nearly as nice as I had hoped it would. I used Inktense and Albert Dürer on here, and I think that is it. And it's this Inktense background that I put on a couple of coats, but I tried to make it look splotchy. It just doesn't look as good as when I see other people making sort of like a pattern in the back with dots or anything. But yeah, it just didn't come out the way I had hoped. So yeah, it's still a page that, you know, I tried my best on. It's just with Inktense, I'm not really that great at it. I don't use my Alberdores as much as I ought to as well. And I think I used some other pencil here. I don't think it was just my Alberdora Dry. It looks like I might have used Polychromos on here as well. But yeah, my favorite part, I love her hair. Yeah, the wings came out okay. I like the gold guys, the boots. And the part I don't like as much is my background, my nemesis. But yeah, so that's what I used for Camila Derrico's Best of Pop Manga. Next up, I have Autumn Charm by Teresa Goodrich. And I did, that's a whip that I have that I can't seem to force myself to do. I did this page, the puppy page, and I really like the way it turned out. I used alcohol marker for almost all of it. And then I went over with my Holbein pencils to shade in spots, especially, you know, with the door, the pumpkins, a little bit on the dog. But for the most part, the rest, I tried to shade with my alcohol markers as well. And then I used various gel pens, mostly gold. You can sort of see it there in the doorknob, the letterbox, the lights, and a little bit inside the center of the flowers. So I really think it came out well. My favorite part is the door and the leaves up on top. I took a lot of time to add all those three colors, a green, a yellow, and an orange, onto those tiny leaves. And I think it paid off because I think it looks really nice. So I don't really see that much that I can improve on at the current moment with my skills. But yeah, I'm happy with it. And these are not easy pages to finish. They take a long time. So I'm always proud, even if it doesn't come out that well, I'm still proud of it because I feel like I put a lot of time into it. So yeah, so that is what I did in Autumn Charm by Teresa Goodrich. Then I did not write this down either because I didn't think I needed to. I just played with some more of the patterns, you know, just trying to make a dent and get braver about putting patterns in my own pages. So I, you know, did some kind of patterns there. I'm okay with the way the gloves turned out. I didn't do all the black like hair marks or yarn marks. Yeah, I didn't think I needed to. And I like the way that sweater came out. And in a lot of these cases, so many of my alcohol markers have dried up that there's no way I'm getting these colors. So I'm using whatever colors I can. And this is, I think the first ones I did. I did this one. I like the way that came out. The blending could have been a little bit better in some of the transitions, but I'm still okay with it. I think my earth came out pretty good. And I think that's all. I did like 3 or 4 pages this month on Coco Wyo's How to Draw Patterns. Up next, I have Gnomes in the Neighborhood, and I completed a whip, and it was a really long-standing whip, and it was this page. I overall like the way it came out. I realized that I do not really like coloring clothing. It's not my thing. I just don't really enjoy it very much. But I did put the wallpaper background in. I just assumed this was like a closet, even though this is technically outdoors. I just decided to do it my way and make it a closet. And in this page, I use Inktense pencils. I used a lot of different watercolors, and then I went over the top with my Woomer pencils to do shading. But I didn't write it down, but I used quite a bit of gel pen as well. I can see a lot of the glaze pen. There's some glitter pen, but yeah, there's like some glitter there as well. You can't really see that one though. But yeah, I think it came out. Oh, I forgot to do her necklace. Ooh, okay. I'm going to have to go back and do this right after this video so that I can just put this book away. I like the way it turned out in the end, and I'm so happy to get another whip done, especially a long-standing one. So that is Gnomes in the Neighborhood by Denise Klette. Up next is Dramenvanger. This is a buddy color that I have every couple of months with Christina's Art Corner and Bubble of Coloring. And we chose this page, this spread. Okay. I'm trying to fit that in, all in. Overall, I think the page turned out okay. I do think that I could have made some better decisions on my color choice. I tried to stay too narrow in my color palette, and it just turned out that the leaves or the castle gets lost with the leaves, or the leaves vice versa. There's something about this page that it's just too similar. I should have varied maybe the castle pink. I don't know what else I could have done, but it's just too narrow a color palette. At the last minute, I threw in some pinks in there, and I just was trying to do anything to make something stand out, because you could not even see there were moths or butterflies on this page originally. So I went in with gel pens and, you know, tried to change the color into something a little bit more or a little bit less neutral. I don't know. I don't think I did a really good job there. I do love the way my leaves turned out. I love the way my castle turned out. I just think I could have chosen some better colors. On this page, I used only Inktense pencils and Polychromos pencils, in addition to a lot of gel pen. I don't know if you can see it, but there is a lot of gold on all of the trim in the castle. I added, this is Jelly Roll Glaze onto the bird. In some of the windows, you can see there's Jelly Roll Glaze, there's Jelly Roll Sparkle, there's Jelly Roll Gold, there's Signo Gold. There is a lot on this page. There's Signo White. So I used a lot of gel pen. Honestly, once I had completed the leaves and the castle, the rest felt kind of painful. I don't know. I just felt like it was going on forever. I think this is 2 months, could be a 3rd month. I'm not really too sure. We're not really very strict with this group. We try to make this enjoyable, and we are open to whenever everyone finishes. If I get anybody's work, I will add it here now. As of the moment, I accidentally deleted the Instagram messages. So I got to contact Christina from Christina's Art Corner to ask her to send me something again so I could see if they have completed their pages. But if not, I will show this page again in December if they're completed with theirs. Or whenever they're completed, I'll show my page again so that I can show you what they did. Okay, so that is Dramenvanger by Tomislav Tomic. Up next, I have Wildflower Folk by Christine Karen, and I did this page, right? Yeah, those were the pages. I think it's this page. Guys, this is so long ago. I'm not sure if this is the page. Just give me a minute. Yes, this is the page that I did. And not a total fail, but I don't love it either. Basically, I used all alcohol markers, some regular watercolor paints for the background, and then I used my Holbein pencils to shade, to do some more of the skin, to get, you know, my darks and my lights in the sweater so that it looked like it had some movement in it. I don't know what my favorite part is. It might just be the sweater. I'm not really too sure. I don't love the page. This is my first one in Wildflower Folk that, well, maybe not the first one, but one of the first ones that I don't really care for. I tried to do a more creative background, like a stormy sky. You know, I don't know. It doesn't look like exactly like a stormy sky, but it doesn't not look like one. I just don't think it's defined enough. And I'm honestly not too sure if it's the blue hair that throws me off. I didn't know what color to pick. Sometimes I ask my husband for advice, and you know, he's normally really good at picking a color that I may question, but then when I do it, I really like it. But in this case, I don't know. He thought blue hair would look nice. I just think it looks odd. It looks off. You know, everything is a warm color, and then you have this cool hair in her eyes. But overall, you know, I've done worse, much worse than this. So, you know, I'm fairly happy with it. I just have to write the date in it. Excuse my arm 1 minute. I just want to write November 25 so I don't forget. So that is all I used in Wildflower Folk by Christine Karen. Up next, I have Alice in Wonderland by Jasmine Becket-Griffith, and I finished a whip plus did an additional page. And the whip I finished is this page. I had so much trouble with this skin. I started to use a paint pen, I don't know when, and stopped halfway down the face. And then I couldn't find a match. I don't know what paint pen this was. So then I went over it with another paint pen, but then it was kind of lumpy looking. So I tried to smooth it out with like an alcohol marker. And believe me, I am making this stuff up as I go along because I have no idea whether that would have worked or not. And it didn't really work. But overall, considering where I came from, I'm happy that I finished it. I'm happy with it in general. I just don't think it's my best work. I am getting used to working with paint pens. I did use alcohol marker in here as well. Actually, a lot of alcohol marker. And I used my luminance pencils and my polychromos pencils. I tried to use the luminance on the face. I don't know how everyone else does it. When I try to use pencil over an acrylic paint pen, and I am using the Artex ones, I don't get a good smooth result. It just looks choppy, grainy, I don't know what else. And yeah, so I am happy that I got this long-standing whip done. And then I also did a new page, and I did her, and I really, really like her. I think she's so sweet looking. I love the colors I chose. I did all blues and then just kind of like a dirty blonde hair. I also made like I tried to make this a rose gold. I used the color palette from my Colorful Country Life. I used her color palette, and I think it came out really well. I like the way it looks. And on this page, I think I also used mostly alcohol marker. There's paint pen, but in this case, this is the Langwo gel pens that I bought. And I like the way that came out. I don't know if I did this pattern. I think I think the flowers were there. I think I put in the polka dots. Yeah, not too sure. This is a little bit of a mistake. I should have done that, the color of her skin. But I think I just got involved and thought it was more of her sleeve, not realizing the sleeve is a little tiny cap sleeve and couldn't be that. But I just fudged it and made it look like a sleeve. But I like the page. I really think it came out nice, and hopefully that means I'm going to be working a little bit more in this book. It was extremely intimidating to me, especially the pages that are very detailed, because the artist that they're trying to imitate is very detailed. And in those pages, I just feel a little overwhelmed by. But this is one that I did in July that I was really, really happy with, and where I started to realize that I could work in this book because now I have alcohol marker. So I don't have to use pen. I don't have to try to get a lot of layers on what I think is fairly smooth paper. It's very hard to get a lot of layers on this. So the way I was struggling when I first purchased this book, I don't think I'm going to continue to struggle with, thanks to my alcohol markers. So that is Alice in Wonderland, or the 2 pages I did in Alice in Wonderland by Jasmine Becket-Griffith. Then I didn't write this down either because this was a really quick PDF. This is from Sugar Sweet. It was a freebie that they gave for the Alice in Wonderland tag. And I just went really simple. I barely shaded anything, but I love the way it came out. So I am going to cut this page out, this part out, and start using it with my other bookmarks. So that is Sugar Sweet free PDF. Up next, I have Fairy Tales and Folklore by Emily Lita Hall Oberg. And geez, I did this page, and I do like the way it turned out. I like the modeled look of the grass and the background here. I think that came out really well. In this case, I used both watercolors and ink tints on this. And I used Jelly Roll Sparkle and Jelly Roll Glaze. And the white is the Signo white gel pen. I am not happy with the white that I put on the flowers. So at some point, maybe when I work on this book again, it certainly is not going to be now. I will go back, now that I have the Langwo gel pens, I'll check to see if I have any oranges and see if I could go over that white. I think the white is just too stark a change. It just doesn't look normal. But my favorite part is the leather bag. I think I made it look pretty close to distressed leather. So I was really happy with that part. Yeah. So yeah, another page. And I don't have that many done in this book. Maybe it's like 2 or 3. It is not an easy book for me. I know a lot of people love this book, and the artwork is beautiful. But for some reason, I feel like I'm struggling with my supplies on this paper. It's just too smooth. I know people adore it. And in the recent tag, a lot of people chose this book as being the best paper in their collection. I just don't personally agree. I am mostly a pencil colorist. And when paper is very smooth, it's very, very hard for the pencil to grab onto something, to lay down the pigment. And the fact that I cannot use alcohol markers because this is double-sided makes it even more of a challenge. So I am using watercolor to base, and that is not always successful. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not in love with the smoothness of this paper. So don't hate me. I know she's really, really popular. I'm not talking about anything about her art. It is absolutely stunning. It's just that I don't love the paper as much as a lot of people do. So that is Fairy Tales and Folklore by Emily Lita Hall Oberg. So let me move on to my last book. Sorry. And the last book is Funny Tales by Kevin Teao Art. And I did the Little Red Riding Hood page. And I like the way it came out. I did not write this one down either. Sorry, my head is barely in the game. but I used alcohol marker. I see crinkling, so I definitely used some watercolor, like all up here is very, very crinkled. So I think I have a lot of watercolor in here. I used pencil as well. I'm going to imagine that this is my polychromos pencils. I used quite a bit of the Jelly Roll glaze there. A little bit on her boots. Yeah, it's here and there. The only odd thing is this moon. I colored it the way it's drawn, and it just seems not round. It just seems like it should have come out a lot more. It just looks oblong, like it's melting. So that's the thing that I don't really care for about this page, is the way that moon was drawn. And I know that's being completely and utterly anal, so I'm going to try to let it go. But I do love the way my background turned out. It does look eerie. I did get a nice glow around the moon. I probably could have blended my pencils in here a little bit more, but I'm okay with it. I think it came out good. Yeah, so that is what I used in Funny Tales by Kevin Teao Art. So that is it, guys. That is everything that I colored in the month of November. I have already put out my December coloring plans. They're a little ambitious under the circumstances, but I am going to try my best. I will have some time off from work, and I hope to have some extra coloring time that I can get. You know, I'm hoping for 4 or 5 Christmas pages in December. I did 2 pages, if you count the double page spread as 2, which I do, in Merry Christmas in November. So I'm glad I got something done before the actual month, because after a little while, I'm just going to get bored of doing Christmas. So I have a lot of other things picked as well. So I hope to have an exciting month, and I hope everyone does really well. Thank you for watching, especially if you stayed this long. And if you can hit that subscribe button, if you haven't already, please feel free to do it. It would really help me out with meeting my goal of 1,500 by the end of 2025. So, okay, again, I hope everyone is well, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye now.